Hello, and welcome back to the Orion Arm. I am Mark, the man behind the curtain, and today we're continuing our development of our original science fiction setting, Dawn of Victory. Man, it's been a hot minute there. Hopefully everyone can still hear me and the visuals are working and there's a map on screen right now, but who knows, it's been a while. If you haven't been following the Templin Institute, I had some bad health issues this last, I guess, year and a half now. Got the all clear about a month ago, and rather than jump right back into things, I decided to use it as an opportunity to revamp the entire Templin Empire, I guess you'd call it. So if you saw our recent episode on House Faroon, it showcases our new UI that we'll be using for the foreseeable future. The same thing's going to be happening here on YouTube streaming and Twitch. This is probably going to be the last stream, or maybe the second last stream, featuring this particular UI, so enjoy it while you can. It's going to get replaced soon. And hopefully by the end of the month, we'll have refreshed pretty much everything from our Patreon to our Steam group that we forgot about immediately, all those things. So, enough of that though. What are we doing today? Well, approximately 3,000 years ago, whenever the last stream was, we were working on although I guess I should... How do we usually start these? Man, it has been a while. All right, let's start from the top then. Dawn of Victory, an original science fiction setting being developed by us as part of our world building series, The Way of World Building. In this series, I'm just basically developing our star map that is the location of our setting. Last time, whenever that was, worked on the American star systems over here in the Sea of Clouds. Going to be continuing that today, but also getting into Native American star systems. I want some representation there, as well as possibly the UK will be next. So Native American systems, UK systems, and then maybe some more independent systems, because I like having these independent kind of avenues weaving through, I don't know, the territory of the superpowers, whatever you want to call it. Hey, and there's the man himself. Tim Barton in chat is, of course, the artist whose work I am ruining. It started off amazing, and then I ruin it with all my names and lines. But what can you do? That's the point of the map, right? Thanks for being here, Tim. Always good to see you. Okay, so now that I've been distracted and forgot what I was talking about, let's just go through some of the important stuff. First, if you want to see this map for yourself, a link hopefully just popped up in chat, map.champlain.group. If you want to look at the wiki, which is where a lot of the lore for this universe is being developed, a link for that also hopefully showed up in chat. The wiki is kind of like my personal notepad where I've just been writing down random ideas I have for this universe. So even when it looks like we're not updating with new videos and stuff, the wiki has gotten some new edits and whatnot over the past few months. Off the top of my head, we came up with the backstory, or at least something interesting, on Urgulu. Urgulu? There's a bunch of alien ruins there. We call them Boar Cities. If you want to learn about that, that's on the wiki. We also wrote up a big section about the second largest American megacity, or megalopolis, whatever they're called. That is on one of these star systems to be determined. Apart from that, if you want to contribute ideas for system names, there'll be another link popping up shortly. This has actually been really well organized, so hop in there. Even if you're new, I'm sure you'll be able to figure out how it's all formatted. Suggest your ideas for a particular nation or a particular region, and who knows, maybe we'll use them. And finally, we're also kind of active on social media. If you want some in-universe updates from the world of... Oh, did that break? Huh, that sucks. Well, go to champlain.group. There's links to our Twitter, Instagram, etc. And yeah, stuff's going down. In fact, let me bring it up on stream. Wait, is that a good idea? Yeah, okay. Why not? If you're following us on Twitter or Threads, we just posted... What did we have? Hold on. So today, the Champlain group just posted this map going over the geopolitics of the Juno Reach. So we have, you know, lists of military equipment. We got their general government model, population alignment, etc. A lot of new details here, going in depth into a section of the map that... Actually, wait, can I have them both on screen? So this section here... Oops. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'm not doing a great job of this. There's a better way to do this. Yeah, I guess that's about as good as I can do it, but our man Tim added a ton of details, kind of blowing up this section of the map. Really cool to see. I'm just gonna look at it for a second. All right, so that's that. Follow us on social media. A lot of stuff going on there. Updates, I think, gonna be 3 times a week going forward, so head over there. All right. And the last thing I wanted to say before we jump into things here is I kind of want to try an experiment today, and we'll see how it goes. So we've been calling these world building streams. Really, they're map building streams with some world building discussion thrown in, which isn't the worst thing in the world. I think that's how I work pretty naturally. But I was thinking it might be interesting for me to try to spend some time in these streams, just, I don't know, putting my notes onto the page, so to speak. So I got some new equipment during the downtime. I don't know if this is actually going to work, but the idea would be, you know, we could solar. I mean, it's kind of hard for me to write right now, but I could add my notes as I'm going along, you know, kind of visualize the geopolitics of the universe in note form. So I'm going to be trying that later in the day. I think I'm going to spend about an hour. Why can't I get rid of that? Did I break the... What happened? Why can't I get rid of that? Am I insane? That's appearing on stream, right? Huh, it must be in a locked layer somewhere. The point is, I want to add some notes onto this map to describe things as I'm going. I feel like that'll help elucidate things, but I can't get rid of that thing. Okay, well, is that just gonna be there for... Oh, fuck! The entire map got revealed. All right, everyone, know and look. Holy shit, it's a disaster already. How do I get rid of isolation mode? All right, everyone look away from the screen for a second. Oh my God. What a nightmare this is. Okay, there we go. Note to self, never remove the black background. Okay, there we go. Ho-ho! That was scary. All right, maybe we won't be doing that today. That already turned into a disaster. So let's start locking these up again. I don't want to see some of this stuff. Extra black. Strings, okay, yeah, we're fine, we are fine. Whew, that was scary though, Jesus Christ. Still can't get rid of that white thing. Why is that? Okay, I'm just gonna start and I'm gonna save this and restart, because that is insane. If it wasn't completely obvious, Illustrator is not my program of choice. I've been kind of using this project as a way to learn it, but still a long way to go. But you know what they say, if you want to learn something, do it on a live stream so all your failures are broadcast publicly. All right, let's get back into this. It's gone. So it was just a glitch. I thought it must have been on like a locked layer or something, but it's not. Huh. Okay. Well, let's get into it. So I have some notes here. And the order of the day is adding Native American strings, or Native American systems, I should say. So we got America, and then we were looking through the most populous or prominent Native American tribes, and we kind of boiled it down to a helpful list, actually, of, I guess not necessary to go through all of them here, but Navajo, Apache, oh man, I can't pronounce some of these, Pueblo, probably, Pima, Sioux, Blackfeet, Iroquois, Three Fires Council, Chickasaw, Cherokee, Choctaw, Muskogee, and Inupiat, and Salish, as kind of the major tribes that would most likely have their own nations in this far future. So again, apologies for the butchered pronunciation there. But, I don't know, let's have this, Ooh, that didn't work. All right. The point is we got some references here. So I think for some of these, actually, I want to add that onto the screen. It's going to be helpful. Yeah, there we go. So these nations here going to be included on the map, although we're not necessarily giving a separate star system to all of these. I think some of them might be grouped up. So we kind of figured out these are the nations most likely to share a space culturally or historically. So that is kind of the plan. Okay, now to actually get into the business of adding maps, or adding systems rather. Where is the legend? Oh, there we go. It's been a while. Let's hopefully remember how to do this. Okay, so I'm gonna tempt fate and try drawing again. As for where the Native American systems would go, I was thinking kind of like in this cluster here. I don't know, that turned out all right. Although now it's just taking me more time to delete this stuff than that really helped. Okay, the point is thinking of adding the Native American systems in here to act as kind of a bridge between this cluster over here and this cluster over here. Now, I wasn't sure if it was, I don't know, insensitive or come across the wrong way to group all the Native American nations together, but in the context of how colonization works in this universe, it did make more sense than having, I don't know, like the Navajo, over here and the Apache over here. I feel like there was probably some agreement with the US government where they found a cluster of star systems, Native American tribes petitioned for sovereignty and got it. So, I don't know, that's the backstory for now. Obviously, I'm not exactly qualified to go in depth into this sort of thing, but I feel like if we can start from a not terrible place, then we'll be setting ourselves up for success later on, as soon as we get some experts who know more than me. Okay, so who's up first? We'll do the Navajo, Apache, Pueblo, I already forgot how to pronounce that, and Pima? On the world, but let's hope I can pronounce this right. Now, ideally, I would have had the meaning of these words handy as well. I don't actually know. Is there an etymology somewhere? Hopefully our map master, Alex, is in chat somewhere. But, yeah, if you are here, drop me a message in the Native American Systems chat. Let me know the etymologies, because I don't actually know some of this stuff by heart. All right, so they're going to be... I like the look of that. Ooh, shit, I like that too. In fact, where is the Three Fires Council? They are in Three Sisters. And I'm seeing 3 stars there. We'll just ignore that one. Yeah, Three Sisters. Let's go. Or maybe I'll just cover up that one. Three Sisters includes Iroquois and the Three Fires Council. And I did see we got a super chat right after start there. I'll be getting to those and answering some questions later on in the stream here. I just want to get some actual work done first. But thank you very much to anyone sending in super chats or just regular questions. Always happy to talk about world building or the setting in general. Okay. Next up we got... Man, I cannot pronounce it. I can barely pronounce words in my own language, let alone others, but Minose? You would think I'd be better at it, since quite a number of streets and avenues in my city are named after Native American names, but apparently it didn't take in my brain. So say, yep. And Cahokia includes the Chickasaw, Cherokee, Choctaw, and Muskogee. And to be clear, this doesn't mean that these nations have been combined into a singular nation, but rather 4 nations share one star system. If that wasn't immediately obvious. All right, so Cahokia. Oh, you know what? I just realized I'm using the wrong symbol for every single one of these, because there are multiple nations on each of these. Meaning I need the right symbol. All right, there we go. On the plus side, that disaster at the start, if we just ignore that, I feel like I'm getting like slightly better at After Effects, or whatever this is, Illustrator, the one where you illustrate things, whatever that one's called. Or maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep making the same dumb mistakes over and over again. There is strong possibility of either. Oh, look at that. It's broken. There should be, oh, never mind. It's working fine. Okay. Three sisters. That was actually the wrong way to do that. All right. Let's do three sisters will be here. At least the vibes are appropriate. I think this music is pretty good. We had some bad luck with copyright strikes on the Templin Institute last week, so I'm not tempting fate and using that one playlist that always gets us more notices, but I feel like this is just as good. Yeah, something like that. I definitely like having the three sisters in this because Three Fires Council. What a great name. Oh, they also got seven council fires. Wait, Three Fires Council and seven. Should that be Seven Fires Council? Or there's seven councils of fire? These are the questions. In any case, I think it's a beautiful name. And this section, to me, feels really appropriate. So three sisters, say something like that. And we still gotta add the Tiswak, featuring both names I can't pronounce. Inupiat and Salish. Let's break it up here and use a different alignment. Yeah, there we go. Salish, says Oliver P.I. Or Oliver Pie, perhaps. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm doing my best here, but something like this, perhaps. All right, awesome. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, got them all. Okay. The only thing I'm wondering is, would it make sense for maybe one of these nations, maybe like the few most populous, to have their own system? like maybe the Navajo. Generally, I would think it would come down to population size, because you wouldn't want to dump a tribe of, just a few thousand people, or, under 10,000 people on a planet by themselves. Not sure. All right, for now, let's just add some lines. Something like this. All right. No idea why that's not connecting, but I'm not gonna figure it out. I guess what annoys me about this method is the way we indicate star system ownership is with this, these, I've been calling them roundels. We got to make up a new term for them, but I feel like in a star map, you can't rely on flags or territory or the traditional ways of marking political boundaries. So instead, we're using these, these roundel things. The problem with that is whenever there's more than one nation in a star system, you don't get that nice roundel, and I feel like we're attempting to represent these different nations, but we've condensed them all into 5 systems or whatever without their own iconography, and that kind of sucks. So I think eventually when we add like a legend or some sort of like border around this whole map, like describing stuff, I want to include like a giant bar at the bottom that just has every single split system listed with the territories or the nations included in each one. I don't know, some way to get these people on the map, if not actually like in the star system part of the map. But I do like this. I think this is pretty solid. And we'll need to in general, I think we're going to need more Native American names throughout the Sea of Clouds, especially in the American section, because something we've mentioned before is none of these nations are monoliths. So just because there is a Navajo nation doesn't mean that every Navajo in the US lives there. There are still some in America proper, there's still some in the Pacific states. They're all over. Okay. Copy that. That's looking good. Oh, another thing we changed between last stream and this one is a lot of the American system names. I'm still not 100% on board. I think, thank you for the super chat. We will be getting to these relatively shortly. But I wasn't entirely happy with how some of the names were playing out. I feel like we got a bit too lost in the weeds of trying to come up with all these, American-centered values or terms or whatever. So the idea is that this kind of cluster here, the new American colonies, this cluster here, and these clusters here, and this cluster here, are all named after terms and concepts we associate with America, whereas some of the newer clusters colonized by America are named after, I guess the theme would be regions of the US. So I don't know if we've actually gone through these all. I've forgotten if we renamed some. I think we did, but the idea will be in the future, if they don't already, and I'm not American, so I have no idea, is that each of these clusters here will be kind of centered around a region of the states, including things like national parks, animals, plant life, etc. And hopefully that's a good naming convention. I really like the whippoorwill system and the longhorn, cardinal, razorback. These feel American without being too crazy. Yeah, I see some folks in chat asking about system names. I will link that in chat again. Okay. So does that feel like it works? Yes, it does. We're gonna need a good Native American name for this area here, which I feel like I'm ruining by putting the Three Sisters right over it. Let's... I know it looks best that way, but I'm covering up some of the... That's too bad. Oh well. Hopefully, one day we'll get our man Tim to do a section of the Sea of Clouds with more detail or something. I don't know. Maybe that'll drive him nuts. Or maybe even just the Native American section. That might be cool. I don't know. But alrighty, let's read some super chats. Unfortunately, can't bring these up on stream anymore because that killed our quality. But let me go back to the one we received at the top of the stream here, which is no longer showing up. Shit. Is there like a limit on... I'm not sure. Well, one we got was Book Barnett saying, so glad you're feeling better. Love these streams. Oh, thank you very much. Very much appreciated for the super chat there. And the next one was from Admiral Fenris saying, hope life is treating you better. Peeved I missed the start of the live, but I'll watch it back later. What kind of fleet sizes are navies probably utilizing? Are we talking Star Wars, terms of dozens to hundreds, or I think this is League of Galactic Heroes, Legend of Galactic Heroes, sorry, in terms of 10,000s to 100,000s? I actually can give you a solid answer on that. This is your bad luck, but we actually went over that kinda, sorta, not really, at the start of the stream. We released a poster on our social media. I'll try to bring it in here again. There we go. So this is a blown up section of the Juno Reach, which I have zoomed in on the wrong thing. Man, why does Illustrator insist on doing that? It always zooms into the wrong thing. Anyhow, so we blew up this section of the map over here and included our fleet sizes. So in general, the smaller powers like the Republic of Vesta, United States of Juno, they only have, what, 26 capital ships, 150 or so escorts, and then a merchant marine / transport / auxiliary ships of about 1,500. So that would be, this is on the lower end. I think the United States of America has 70,000 ships, but that includes things like, it might include things like fighters and transport craft. So middle is like, I don't know, what's this to get, like 300 ships thereabouts, and on the high end, the superpowers would be tens of thousands. Collectively, the Orion Treaty Organization probably has at least 200,000, 300,000. Like it's a big galaxy, and they got massive populations that can sustain this sort of thing. So mostly big fleets. And I'm really sorry. I think there was another super chat at the start of the stream that I cannot get back to. Maybe I can do it on feel forgive me. I'm gonna try to bring that up because I'd hate to misreading something out. I don't suppose that person's still in chat, are they? Then I can just ask them. Sorry, if you don't mind just holding on for a second. I'm opening up the old stream. Is there any chance I can see the chat playback there? No, it's not loading. It's playing an ad. Okay, well, I'm sorry about that. What can you do? Maybe I'm imagining it. Let's just hope I am. Okay. Man, I did not know that... oh, wait, Adam. in chat. What did you ask via super chat? I can't bring it up again. It's the chat playback only goes back so far. I did not realize that. My apologies. Okay, but on the other side of things, I want to start working on the UK. Man, why does it always insist on like zooming in on these random parts out of nowhere? It makes no sense. Like it's constantly selected. Damn you, Illustrator, I hate you so much. Nope, it's not. All right. Adam's saying, basically I said, thanks for the original lore you added to series like Stellaris, Halo, and Star Wars. I love seeing your contributions to these great universes. Oh, well, thank you very much, yeah. This is very much an extension of videos like The Holy Rollers or Stellaris Invicta, or what else have we done? I guess we did the Star Wars Reimagined with the First Order and New Republic and all that. So yeah, Dawn of Victory is what I would do if they gave me George Lucas money and said, you know, build your own thing. And Admiral Fenris, thanks for the super chat, saying, will Teddy Roosevelt receive the appropriate veneration in this interstellar United States? He is, after all, the most American to ever American. That is true. I was reading about him charging up San Juan Hill. And, yeah, as a politician, he is incredible. I'm sure a lot of what he said didn't age. Why does it keep doing that? That is so frustrating. It has to be a glitch with Illustrator, because there's no reason that would just constantly have that. I'm going to restart this, and I'm going to prove this is a glitch, if you'll excuse me. Man, that's annoying. Goddamn Illustrator. While we're waiting, though, if you have any suggestions for UK system names, feel free to add them to the list. We already got plenty, which we'll be using some temporary ideas until I get my act together. It was a glitch. I knew it. God damn. All right, starting with Britannia. I think that... wait. Red saying, Illustrator locks on when you were on a layer, by the way. Was I on that layer? All right, we'll keep that in mind. But UK systems, let's go. UK, British, I say, okay. We also need a new name for Tarnagri, whatever this is. I believe this is a mythical place in Celtic mythology. It seemed like a good temporary name for this side of the great cosmic string linking these two sides of the Sea of Clouds together. But both Bridge of the Gods and Tarnagri, I don't know, they're not doing it for me. I think we need better names, but I can't think of any at the moment. Nor do I like having this line cross this. I feel like it wouldn't work that way. Perhaps. All right. But let's start adding some British systems here. I'm going to try not to cover up this beautiful nebula, but that is kind of my go-to move. All right, so this is kind of like the central British cluster. So we'll keep it pretty condensed, because I feel like that's what we're doing these days with these... And you know what? I think I'm just going to start reading these super chats as soon as we get them, so I don't lose track of them again. So Grestel, thank you very much for the super chat, saying, why not have independent systems in the Sea of Clouds be auto-administered like Liberty, like they control the route between the major nations? Not a horrible idea. I actually, that would make some sense. I guess my thinking is not every nation in the Sea of Clouds will necessarily be in Oto. The majority will, but, you know, for example, some of these Native American nations might not want to be part of Oto and get dragged into things. So I think having Oto control the way in might be a bit too... It's also kind of weird to have, like, NATO be in charge of sea lanes or something. There's probably still freedom of navigation and whatnot, so... Got nothing against the idea, but I think I gotta think on it a bit more. I need some time to cook. Alright, Britannia, our main nexus and capital. Some star lanes in there. Yeah, it's looking pretty good. I think the Brits got a pretty condensed cluster like the Americans do, at least for their central territory here. All nicely connected. All right, does that look kind of natural? Yeah, I think so. A lot of systems named British, though, so... Let's start renaming these suckers. Okay, so we got a whole list of UK names. I'll link that Google Doc one more time. I have no idea what to use as a theme for the British systems, or if they even need one. We've gone kind of out of our way to use these very strong themes with the American systems, and to a lesser extent the Indian and Brazilian systems. Does the UK need that same thing, or maybe they just went all random? I'm not sure. For now, I think we're gonna kind of follow the American route, and I want to use some terms associated with British, or with the British, with Britain. Yeah, that one. Jubilee. I don't know. Is that too on the nose? That's like a... Yeah. I don't know. But let's keep going. Actually, you know what? I do think I kind of like having more eclectic names for the British. That feels very British to me to have. Although Scapa Flow, I don't know, but that seems a bit too on the nose. What else do we got on our list of names? Rosetta Tempest. The Tempest system? Hey, and Admiral Fenris, thanks for the super chat. Honorable world known for producing naval officers within British space. Nelson, independent equivalent, Pelion. Huh. Nelson, Pelion. Wait. So Nelson, I know. Pelion, is that the Star Wars guy? Or is there a real Pelion? Nelson actually makes sense. But no, the main fleet base would be called Nelson. So yeah, I can't use that for a star system name, but you know, HMS Nelson fleet base is a thing. What else do we got? I'm seeing a lot of people and cities, regions, infrastructure. Bridgewater, the first true canal in England. I like that, Bridgewater. And again, none of these names are set in stone. As we've seen with the Americans, we'll be going back and changing a lot of stuff to make sure it fits better and makes sense culturally. But for now, just getting some stuff on the screen, I feel like we got some good options. Kingston, Oxford, Piccadilly, Westminster, Whitehall. Yeah, Whitehall sounds fine. I think really what we need to do is, hold on, I'm gonna break out the screen here and see if I can't draw something and make it actually work well. So, bear with me, we're doing an experiment. Will it be a disaster? Probably. I mean, most of the stuff we do is. Alright, so in terms of what I'm thinking, whoops, I already messed it up. So this area here, I'm thinking like England. Although, would it make sense to have, like, Wales, I don't know, in its own kind of section? Wait, am I just drawing... Wales is where it would be in real life, right? England, Wales, Scotland systems. And then maybe a bit more, stuff up here. Would that work? Yeah, I think so. Although I have been putting all my systems on the wrong layer, so that's good. Good work, Mark. There's this guy on, I keep seeing him on TikTok, but I imagine he streams as well, who I'm trying to copy here. You know that guy, he used to work at Blizzard, and now he answers, like, life questions or whatever, and he's always, like, drawing stuff out. I was like, why can't I do that? Alright, let's get this fixed. There we go. Cool. Oh, Rosset says Pirate Software. Yeah, that's the guy. I don't know how he, like, writes stuff out so quickly. I can't do it for shit, so. I guess it's that Blizzard training. And Grestel, thanks for the super chat, saying NATO does similar in the Atlantic. They keep trade and communication open. It could be inspired by that, like shared control through OTO. Well, that's a bigger topic, I guess, because like the big one, of course, is the United States keeps maritime trade open, which is one of the reasons why globalization happened in our own world, right? But there were no conditions similar to that in this version of Earth, so that's why fascism and communism have kind of thrived, and dictatorships in general. Because America wasn't able to dictate the terms of the globalized world quite as well. So let's just keep going. There's obviously something going on here that needs a name. Okay. Oh, and thanks for the super chats there, Kingdray and Blade Fox. I'll get those both answered right now. Okay, so Kingdray asking, are PMCs in DOV and how big of a part are they? Yes, PMCs are huge. Business is good for PMCs. I don't know if we've actually established any in the lore quite yet, but they're definitely a thing. They're used by mega corporations. And PMCs, when they operate... Oh, wait, I should draw this out. Hold on. I swear, I'm going to make this work. All right. No, screw it. I'm just going to waste time. So PMCs, when they operate in like the local cluster, the Amazonia cluster, anywhere kind of outside the frontier, they're mostly just ways for the superpowers and other nations to project power or influence without being directly involved, to invoke the real world, and I'm sorry for that. We've seen this in Africa, where you had those Russian mercenary Wagner, right? Wagner was trying to, what was it, Mali or something? Anyhow, but how these nations use PMCs that aren't officially aligned with them as a way to project influence without doing it directly. So, same thing's happening here. However, when you get out into the far frontier, away from civilized space, PMCs are more and more operated by independent companies in the megacorps, and they have a lot more power. A PMC operating on the frontier is a lot nastier than a PMC operating in the middle of the local cluster, for example. Hope that answers that. All right, the next super chat, I've already scrolled by it. Blade Fox suggesting the Aston Martin system for an industrial center. Might be a bit too on the nose, but I like where your head's at. What we really need is the Top Gear system. Eye of Elizabeth. And one and only DJ, thanks for the super chat, saying, any twist on how the British monarchy works in DOV? Potentially, but I haven't put much thought into that yet. All I can say for certain is that they're still around. But as for a twist, I mean, does there need to be a twist? The British monarchy has been around for quite a bit longer than just 200 and... Well, actually, I don't know enough to say for certain. Has the monarchy changed throughout history? It must have, because I assume people like Cromwell and whatnot. Wait, Cromwell was the guy who was against... Okay, I don't know my British history, which is clearly evident here. So I guess the answer to the question is yes, it's evolved, but as to how, I have no idea. I'll need to start doing my research into that. This is the danger of asking or answering questions. Ooh, Iron Bridge, kind of like that, on stream. I don't have all the answers, I'm afraid, so I just put out shitty answers instead. Oki1 Kenobi saying, what if the Queen was a computer? Holy shit. There it is. That's the twist. And it's like an old computer, too. Like, they uploaded our consciousness into a computer in like the 1980s, and they just kept it this entire time. People say it's cruel, but so is the monarchy in general, I'd say. And that hasn't stopped anybody. And what's especially annoying about monarchies is that I live within one, and I find that so infuriating. Speaking of which, we'll get Victoria in here. Normally, I'm against naming star systems after people because I think it's too much. I think it's vain and arrogant and all these other things. But I don't think the UK agrees with me because they've named their aircraft carriers Queen Elizabeth, or what, Prince of Wales and Queen Elizabeth or something, so clearly they don't mind naming big stuff after kings and queens. America, too, I guess, naming after all their carriers after presidents. But that's lame. They should be named after battles and Enterprise. Admiral Fenris asking, the real question mark is what really happened to Vega? Hey, all I know is that there is two competing stories, each telling a different side of it. I can't say for certain which one is right. Who are some other famous monarchs throughout British history whose reputation hasn't been sullied? One and only JJ saying, vain and arrogant as a Brit. Oh, sorry. Vain and arrogant as a Brit sounds pretty on point to me, ha. Nailed that British accent. God damn, that was perfect. But thank you for the comment. I'm seeing Henry II Kurt Mantle. His name was Kurt Mantle. Red saying, Mark, notice the misspell. I didn't spell anything wrong. Victoria Elizabeth. What did I spell wrong? You can't tell me I spelled something wrong and then not give me a... Like, what? Just because of that, I'm not gonna fix it. George V. Oh, Eye of Eliza. Oh, Eye of Elizabeth. Eye of Judgment. The question is, like, would the system be called Henry or would it be called, like, Henry II? Burke Barnett saying, and thanks for the super chat, saying it should be Queen's Eye instead. Why? Is there a reference there or just for grammatical purposes? Queen's Eye. That was a joke name, by the way. I feel like Eye of Elizabeth is what, I don't know. It's very on the nose and feels cheesy to my eye of Elizabeth. Alexandrian Codex suggesting the Henry cluster, Henry 1, Henry 2, Henry 3. Well, technically, wouldn't there be like a Henry 1 through however many planets are in the Henry system? Yeah, that'd be funny. Like, you look up whatever Henry got hit by a, I don't know, was assassinated or something. Henry the Third, and then we'll say that Henry 3 got struck by a comet in historical irony. Okay, let's keep going. I don't want to add too many systems. I feel like... But the Brits need more than this. God, I love this area so much. This is one of the coolest areas on the map, and they're all pretty damn cool. Again, mostly picking up some random names for now off the list. So don't consider these canon, please. Alright, so I think I said that we want kind of like the Welsh kind of area to be around here. But does that make any sense? Would the United Kingdom want to continue the separation between its geographical regions on Earth into the interstellar age, or like would, you know, the Scottish population, for example, just be spread across all of these? Same with the English population, same with Welsh. Would Welsh have its own area? I think so. I think that they would still, you know, the Welsh people would obviously still want star systems named after their own culture, heritage, history, etc. Same with the Scots. So why not have them in different areas? And of course, we'll also need a section for Canada. Oh, one and only, JJ just mentioned that. Wasn't Canada rolled into the British government? Yes, it was. So we're gonna have, you know, New Ottawa somewhere over here. Actually, I had an idea for that. I kind of wanted the Canadian section of the UK to like be up here, because this looks kind of snowy and Canada-ish to me. Quebec is certainly over there. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's get some Welsh. All right. Again, I'm exposing my ignorance here, so please forgive me. What is the Welsh language called? Is it called Welsh? Because I'm looking at our list here, and I'm seeing a lot of stuff in Brittonic, I'm seeing Gaelic, I'm seeing Scots and Celtic. I have no idea which one of these are Welsh. Let's look it up. Welsh language. is Welsh, and it's Celtic. So what are all these labels then? How come there's nothing here labeled Welsh? Matt Master is saying it's Brittonic. Is that how you pronounce it, by the way? Brittonic? That can't be right. All right, but we do have the Welsh fabled otherworldly world of delights, eternal youth, and abundant food. That feels like a very appropriate name. Oh, and Care City. This was a planet we had in Dawn of Victory Classic that I would really like to bring back. Care City. It was a fortress, I think, or a mythical land of some. Actually, it says right here, castle in the otherworld of Welsh mythology. Got it. Man, naming all the Welsh systems after mythological fortresses feels really cool. And we got Merlin's Fort or Sea Fort. Yeah, let's fucking add that. That sounds rad as hell. Merlin's Fort. All right, if you want to suggest Welsh names, get me mythological Welsh castles. That sounds rad as all hell. Oh shit, should that be the theme? I feel like that makes a bit of sense to have star systems named after castles. Like castles are is that crazy? List of British castles. A lot of them are named after cities, which I feel like works as well. Patrick Lee suggesting Grayskull. God damn. Yeah. we'll put a Castle Grayskull in the frontier somewhere. I feel like that would work there. All right, but maybe next stream, maybe in between the streams, we're going to revisit a lot of these names and maybe come up with something a bit more distinct. I like the castle idea. In the meantime, though, let's add Sterling. The Sterling system, does that make sense? Silver of high quality. Yeah, maybe there's like a star that's really silvery colored. They call it Sterling. British people in chat. How imaginative are the British people, would you say? Very or not at all? I visited there briefly last year. My own observations yielded mixed results. That was my first time in the UK. I thought it was lovely and wonderful. Welsh, meaning Black Cliff of the Black Height. That is a long-ass name, but sure, let's give it a go. Clogwyn der Ardu. Clogwyn der Ardu. Clogwyn der Ardu? Tagasa Patau in chat saying, "You're Canadian, we made you." Yeah, but I'm half French, so eat shit, you British dogs. It's Mark with a C. Okay, what is the relationship between the Celts and the Welsh? Is there any? Because we got a legendary enchanted. This is where like the ignorance really comes in, because without knowing the relationship between these groups, I'm not a study or a student of British history, so I can't really say. But I like this Celtic name, Brosselande. I'll add it just somewhere off to the side so it doesn't infer anything. Welsh are a Celtic group. Hey, there it is. Oh. Alexandrian Codex saying it's pronounced Brockcaland. That sucks. Why would it be pronounced like that? I can't remember how I pronounced it, but I know mine was way better. Okay. So right now, these star systems are really aligned with the nebula, and that's my weakness when I'm making maps, is I need everything to line up to these nebula. So I think from here, we're going to start maybe breaking away from this a bit. This will be the exception. I think I mentioned I'm half French. I'll share a bit of family history. Who knows if this is true, but I was told that a distant ancestor of mine won the, or was awarded the highest civilian honor in France for saving the life of the king somehow. Apparently he was like in a bar and heard a plot to kill the king and just told on them and got a medal for it. Which, you know, as someone who hates monarchies but loves awards, I'm split. How's this looking? I think it's looking good. All right, let's get Scotland in here. Scotland, where you are at? Scottish. What Scottish names do we have suggested? I'm seeing a lot of locks, which I suppose makes sense. Yeah, we got Ness in here. I think Loch Ness might be a bit on the nose. We've got Albion, or Albane? Glen Albin, one of the names of the Great Glen, the largest glen in Scotland, following the Great Glen. Also, it's the second largest glen. Huh, is that a good name? Well, I gotta put something down here. What did I do? Oh, I feel like this is the Scottish area. I think that's incredibly beautiful. Yeah. What else do we got? Yeah, these are all locks. We need some non-lock Scottish names. Edinburgh. Yeah, all right, Edinburgh. It's not impossible that some city names might kind of just pop up in here. One and only JJ, thanks again for the super chat, saying when it comes to the British/English, my guts say they'd be nostalgic in naming, with the Scots and Welsh absolutely striving to reflect their culture. Yeah, it certainly makes sense to me. So we got the British section, or the English section here, more of the Welsh over here, and then the Scottish kind of making up this foundation, and then the Canadians banished over there. All right, Edinburgh. Kirkwall, that's cool. Bloodborne Duck asking, is Canada just a direct part of the UK, or is it like a protectorate? Yeah, it's a direct part of it. So officially, it's the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Canada. Or maybe the United Kingdom of Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and Canada, minus Quebec. Horsel Common, Bell. Oh, we also got to do Northern Ireland. Okay. Let's see, what do we got? We got a lot of Irish names here, so that'll be easier. Okay. But I feel like I'm losing the plot a bit. How long have I been muting myself? God damn it. You cough once, and all of a sudden, you're no longer talking. Like I said, it's been a while since I've been streaming. Thanks for your patience. What wasn't I saying? Shit. What have I been talking about for the last 2 minutes? Nothing. I think I said that I like Stirling connecting to Edinburgh. I thought that was a good touch. If Stirling is a Scottish term, like I've been informed. Something like this. Yeah, that looks really good to me. Sometimes when you put these stars down, they just don't look right for whatever reason. This, I think... I mean, Paramount's kind of weird. It's kind of out there. Yeah. All right, now, Canada. Of anything on this map, you would think this is where my knowledge would really come into play. Unfortunately, Canadian history is not my expertise. What is my expertise? Do I have one? I guess not. I feel like, you know, it's the jack of all trades, master of none effect, where like I know a bit about a lot of stuff, but not enough about anything to really be called an expert. So, Canadian cities, I don't know. Calgary. Actually... Halifax. Although Halifax was named after the British Admiral, right? So, or Lord Halifax. I feel like that's gonna get confused. I like the idea of Canadian national parks being like kind of the Canadian theme. I think that's pretty good. So we do like Kananaskis. And it's a way to bring back some of that Native American terminology or titles to this side of the map. Of course, the problem with this is I only know national parks in my side of Canada. I don't know anything in the east. Do they, like, have parks in Ontario? I don't think so. I think it's just, like, this really grim, horrible place. But for now, let's just get some temporary names. Ontario National Parks. Point Pelee. That's pretty good. Samuel de Champlain Park. I don't know we had a park. Oh, Frontenac. Yeah, there we go. Not all French Canadians are part of Quebec. Although, let's add Quebec while we're here. Actually, they'll need their own symbol, won't they? So we'll use this for now. Okay, Quebec. What, where should it be? Yeah. The question is, like, how do these connect? Do they connect from there? Or do they connect? They must connect through here. We'll worry about that later. For now, though... This to me looks good. Although, can't call this the Eye of Judgment. What's a good name for a wonder of the Orion arm that would be located near Britain? I mean, it definitely looks like an eye to me. So it has to be the eye of something. Sauron. Does the Jewel of the Crown have an official name? Jewel of the Crown is a TV series. But surely it's referring to the... I mean, didn't, the jewel referred to in that phrase refers to like a jewel that was taken from India, or am I getting that completely wrong? I remember hearing that somewhere. I have no idea. Titanic X recommending the Eye of London. Shit, that's pretty good. The London Eye, Live of London, okay. Oh, that's so lame. Can't do it. Can't do it. All right, we'll come back to that. I have no idea what to name this thing, but for now, how much time do we got left? Okay, we'll give it another 15 minutes of putting down star systems. I feel like the UK needs to be bigger. Or should it? I don't know. How many systems we at? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 23, 24 star systems to the American 70. Shit, I don't hate that. I feel like this is pretty good. I think we can add a few more. I think that the British would have had first choice in this side of the map. Like, as soon as they got through the superstring, they would have been gobbling up territory, regardless of whether or not they planned on establishing gigantic colonies there. So let's add another cluster over here. Just a small one, though. All right, 3 more names. Again, mostly temporary. Not totally random, but mostly random. Have we done Somerset? That sounds nice. Clydebank. Sure. I saw someone in chat bring up Nelson again. I think we said that was going to be reserved for a shipyard. But of British admirals and British naval heroes, Nelson's top of the pack, right? Like, no one even is close. Is that about the sum of it? I like Sterling kind of being the center of this intersection here. That's kind of nice. And I guess we'll need at least a few more star systems linking the British section to the Canadian section. So name-wise, what do we got? Stonehenge. Should there be a place called Stonehenge? Feels too on the nose. But we got Carlin here. Kind of an English/Scottish word, Carlin. Okay. And Shackleton. Shackleton has recently become a very sci-fi name. I keep seeing it pop up in Star Trek and I think The Expanse, but for sure For All Mankind. It has entered the public vernacular, or at least the sci-fi public vernacular. And Ryan K saying I got Tempest listed twice. Yeah, it was probably used as a temporary name and I forgot to change it. So we got one Tempest over there and one Tempest here. Which is the fake Tempest? All right, the Newton system. And again, completely temporary names on most of these. I'm breaking a lot of my own rules. But them's the breaks when we're on stream like this. I feel like it's like easier to work on this, right? When you can refer to Iron Bridge or Care City as opposed to, you know, the independent system beneath the other independent systems. So that's the rationale for that. I hope this doesn't come across as not caring about the etymology of star system names, because that couldn't be further from the truth. Just needs something as a good frame of reference is all. And one and only JJ saying, surely the Orion Hockey League from the Vega vid has a decent presence in the Canadian sector of British space. Also, is it Great Britain or UK? Isn't it both? United Kingdom of Great Britain? I assume it's true in the Orion arm as well. This is the new Great Britain. But yeah, Orion Hockey League, really big in Canada. I think all the top players are Canadian. And of course, there was the Summit series between Oto, or I guess between, let's say, the Soviet Union and the Oto international team. It was a huge event. They were chanting in the stands. They were, da da Canada, niet niet Soviet. Okay, so we got one cluster here and another cluster kind of here, and I like them being connected through there. Whoops. The Oliver Pie has it right, the 2272 Summit series. Okay. Yeah, I'm mostly just looking around now. I feel like anything else I'm going to start taking away from the general shape I'm going for, so let's try to figure out how to link these two sections. Yeah. All right. Maybe like, I don't think we need to like fill it completely. I think we can have just maybe a couple systems linking it together. Something like so. All right, new names. Gladstone, that's a good one. When we do the big review, some of these we might want to keep. I like Gladstone. I just wish it wasn't a person. Sequel. And Osborne. So I think what I'm thinking is to have like a central, you know, British core around here, and then have like a bunch of like little minor areas kind of throughout all like this area. So whereas the Americans have these giant clusters, I think the British will mostly have just like a couple systems over here, a couple systems over here, a couple systems over here, amidst like more independent systems. I think that's what I'm leaning towards here. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. This cosmic string is going to look very fake, but gotta link these somehow. We'll figure out how to make it look good later. This music feels like it's mocking me. Like, this feels like waiting music where I'm taking too long. I'm not saying it's not good. I'm just saying like the rhythm of it. I feel like it's judging me. Yeah, okay, and then we'll expand outward from here, expand into here a bit. I think this is working. I think it's working well. All right, so I'm gonna save this here. And rather than adding any new systems, I'm gonna try to do a bit of a more in-depth guide into how the geopolitics of this universe are kind of structured. So, bear with me. I'm gonna break out that new tablet thing I've been trying and try to just write some notes, go over some stuff, and maybe we can refer to it in future streams. So, to talk a bit about the theory behind this map, I know this is something we've touched on before, but the general idea is we're trying to make the most interesting geopolitical chessboard that we can. Geopolitics, ideology, major parts of the DOVO-verse. So what we're looking for is just a bunch of factions, organizations, nations, all those things that the Templin Institute talks about to make things interesting. So here's how those kind of relationships are shaping up. And let me just get set up here. Never done this before, so you'll have to excuse me if I fuck it all up. But all right, so let's get into this. All right, so what did I do? I'll figure this out. Hey, look at that. Okay. So we start off, we got the solar subcluster here. Is that visible at all? No, let's make that a bit bigger. Or more visible. Cool. All right, solar subcluster. The idea here is that the big power is our friends... Wait, I'm not... Damn it, I'm not good at this. All right, so we got Alpha Centauri. Oh, also, my handwriting is terrible, so I'm going to apologize for that in advance. But the big dog of the solar subcluster is Alpha Centauri. They're probably... They're kind of like Singapore in that they're a city-state by the equivalent of the superpowers, only controlling one star system. But because they're essentially in the center of the entire Orion arm, Alpha Centauri is like this natural nexus, which has made them into a near superpower. I think on the official wiki, they're classified as a great power right now, on par with a place like India or wherever else. So Alpha Centauri, hugely powerful, but they've mostly been not taken over. Alpha Centauri was created by the League of Nations following the evacuation from Earth, but then international support for Alpha Centauri dried up as soon as the Americans started colonizing. I won't go all the way over there. As soon as the Americans started colonizing the Sea of Clouds, so Alpha Centauri kind of became this like mostly aligned with Western nations, and that's just kind of continued ever since. So Alpha Centauri is in. Let's see if I can actually. Is this helping, by the way? Like, is this interesting? Notes like this? I have no idea. But Alpha Centauri largely has a stranglehold on the other nations in the solar subcluster, which together are part of an alliance called SATO, or the Solar Associated Treaty Organization. Is that what it's called? I did steal this name from Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. But, no, we're the Solar Association, whatever. The point is it's called SATO. I forget what the acronym's for, but we'll get to that. SATO, of course, being so closely tied with Alpha Centauri and including nations like Sirius, Tau Ceti, and the nations in Epsilon Eridani, it's kind of seen as, let's call it... Again, I apologize for the handwriting, but they're kind of seen as an OTO puppet. If you're a critic of Alpha Centauri, of SATO in general, you would say that it's not a real alliance, it's just being controlled by the Americans and the British, etc., as a way to maintain OTO's stranglehold over the local cluster. And there is some truth to that, because right above that, we got our friends in the Vega cluster. There we go, let's get this all going there. All right, so... God, my handwriting is so terrible. Jesus, look at that. All right, so... Former big dog of local... So, back in the colonization era, Vega was the star system to beat. Alpha Centauri was getting all the money. Vega was getting all the actual people, and as a result turned into this kind of superpower at a time when most other nations were struggling to get off of Earth. So Vega was this huge success story. and it was even able to half colonize, half take over a bunch of its neighboring systems in a campaign called the, what do we call it? The Lyra campaigns. Which is how Vega went from just one system to a whole bunch. And in effect, what that did is it created a counterbalance to the power of Alpha Centauri. So, for a lot of the early interstellar era, there was this huge rivalry between, what do we got? Vega in the Lyra cluster and Alpha Centauri in the local cluster, or the solar subcluster. This culminated in a series of wars, which Vega eventually lost. The plot of that we'll get into later. But Vega, in losing the war, losing the final war, set the conditions for it to be kind of split between the superpowers. So now, in the modern era, we have the Soviet side. Yeah, let's get a good green. And that's also red. And the GDR. GGGR. Come on, make it green. Well, two of them are green. I'll get there. We can do this. Hold on, hold on. God damn it. Why is this so hard? All right, whatever. Good enough. So that's that dynamic there. But also involved in that war, and this is what we're getting into on the social media side, the Juno Reach was also involved in the... wait, I should write that down. Here, let me go this. So these were the... Oh, come on. Solar Wars were there. And I feel like this is good because I can refer back to this and explain everything again without having to write everything down. So, Solar Wars between Alpha Centauri and Vega. Also included the Juno Reach. Vega wasn't just a success story on its own. Vega also influenced a lot of independent powers. So Vega influenced Arcturus, influenced, kind of messed that one up, but it influenced nations like Vesta and even Juno. And in the Solar Wars, you had nations in the Juno cluster or Juno Reach, Juno, Vesta, some of the nations in Sylvanus, Dia, Apollo, basically aligning with Vega. Let me write this down. Let's go. So we got I don't know, this kind of area here. Some of these guys here and some of these guys there. So the Solar War is probably the largest conflict in the Orion Arm in the late stage of the first era of colonization. So we're talking, what year would this be? If the current year is 2285, a lot of this stuff happened in the 2210s, 2220s, thereabouts. None of these dates are set in stone, but that's the idea. Big rivalry. Alpha Centauri, Vega. Vega is supported by these minor nations. Vega loses, is split in two between the Germans and the Soviets. Now it's divided, it's caught up in the Cold War, it's no longer a power, an independent power in its own right. And so, with Vega no longer in the picture, a lot of its former allies, like Vesta, Juno, all these places, have been forced to, I don't know, find their own path forward. And for Vesta, they see themselves as the new Vega, which I will attempt to add to this map. Or maybe it's the next Vega. Man, I can't write for shit. That doesn't look like an E at all. There we go, that fixed it. Good work, Mark. Okay. So that is kind of where I'm at right now with the geopolitics of the local cluster during the early days of exploration. We're still working out the relationship between a lot of these places. So, for example, Vesta considers itself the next Vega. They want to restart the concept of Vega nationalism, which was the big driving force behind the original Vega nation back when it was still independent. Now it's been kind of subsumed behind communism and fascism and these other ideologies. But for a brief time, it looked like Vega was going to take over the entire local cluster and the superpowers took issue with that, and now here we are. So, any other questions I can answer about kind of geopolitics in the local cluster for our last, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes here? Because I would love to give my drawing some more attempts. Barry Surawatanagal, sorry for the butchering there, asking, what's the lingua franca of Orion? Man, I don't know Latin terms. That's like the working language, right? Probably English, probably Spanish, probably Japanese in some areas. I don't know if there's one for the entire Orion arm, but definitely for certain regions. I think overall, probably English. Oh, Map Master Alexandrian Codex asking, how inactive or how active is the sphere in the local cluster? Not at all. Of the major superpowers, in fact, let me try to draw this because I really want to get good at this if I can. All right, let's do this. Okay, red. Is that gonna work? No. All right, so we got the Soviets coming in from this side. We got the Axis. Woo, that's not visible at all, is it? Point is, Axis coming in from that side, and then we got the Oto coming in from there. The only major faction that's not super involved in the local cluster is the Japanese. So they are barely relevant around Alpha Centauri, the solar subcluster in general, and that mostly just has to do with their geography. Instead, the new Canaan corridor is much more important to the Japanese, so they're coming up through here, and that brings them into conflict with Oto. The what do you call it? The local cluster is only important to the Japanese and the sphere in general in regards to giving them access to the Germans, and that alliance isn't super strong, so I'm not sure if the Japanese Navy would risk, you know, breaking into the local cluster just to get access to their German allies. I think they'd probably leave that to the Germans or the Soviets. So that's going on there. All right, next questions. Burke Barnett, who is the major Japanese puppet for the local cluster? I don't know if the Japanese have a puppet per se, but they're definitely involved in New Canaan, Turkey, and the Senecane subcluster with mixed results. Turkey, not super interested in a formal agreement with the Japanese or anything like super binding. Turkey kind of has a lot of options, and they like being able to choose, geopolitically speaking, of course. So Turkey will work with the Japanese on some stuff, and they'll work with Oto on other stuff, but generally they're keeping their options open. New Canaan is an area where the Japanese could make influence or make some gains, but New Canaan is being competed for influence with, you know, Turkey, Senecane people. New Canaan is a hotspot, you'd say. One and only DJ asking, thanks for the super chat, asking, so was the Solar War sort of a proxy war? Vega in backed by both the Comintern and Axis, thus split between the two, while Sato served as an OTO proxy. Not quite. So the original Solar Wars were basically an attempt, maybe I could go back and give you a huge overview. So in the early days of colonization, after Earth was blown up and contact was kind of lost, the ability of the superpowers to influence the local cluster was kind of gone, you know? You had these American-friendly colonies in places like Alpha Centauri and the Apollo cluster, but the Americans could no longer, you know, send ships into the local cluster. Same with the Germans, same with the Soviets. So it was almost, we call it the Dark Age, where the number of starships prowling through space just drops dramatically. So in that kind of power vacuum, Vega is the first to reestablish themselves. Alpha Centauri is second. Alpha Centauri's plan is to hold out long enough for Oto to be able to influence the local cluster again, whereas Vega is thinking, we have maybe a 20-year window where we can do whatever we want, well, not whatever we want, to make some moves in the local cluster before the superpowers can start influencing things again. So the Vega plan was to create kind of a new empire in the center of the local cluster, probably something spanning... Actually, let's change the color there. Let's go back to white. The Vega dream was to create like their own superpower consisting of all the nations of the local cluster, probably a giant pyramid or something like that. And the plan was, if Vega could achieve that, then they'd have enough of a, I don't know, like a bargaining chip. They'd be powerful enough to stop the influence of the superpowers in the local cluster. So, viewed one way, you could say that Vega's objective was to prevent the conditions that led to the Cold War, or at least become a major axis of it, or a major anchor of it. Didn't work, though. The plan failed. Alpha Centauri won. They were backed by Odo, more or less. I can't go into huge details about this, because I guess there are kind of spoilers. We're going to be revealing this stuff later on. But yeah, the Solar Wars set the stage for what the local cluster is dealing with now, which is a mixture of influence of the superpowers and then this lingering resentment over the fall of Vega and the promise that it once held. Alrighty, any other questions about geopolitics? Night Terrors asking, did India and or Pakistan have a role in the Solar Wars? Not really. At this time, India is just trying to get all its people fed and clothed and all, like just the basic elements of civilization had broken down following the loss of Earth. So India is still trying to get set up as an interstellar state. Same with Pakistan. So the solar cluster, or the Solar War, didn't have any direct superpower involvement until the very end. Any other questions? Anything else I can answer here using my fantastic drawing skills / pen? Blade Fox 2298 asking, are there any flashpoints between the sphere and the axis? That's a good question. I wouldn't say so. Not directly. It's all done through puppets, right? So there is probably a fascist group or a fascist nation somewhere that has beef with Japan or the sphere, and because of that, they're probably not a formal part of the Axis. I think the Germans wouldn't want to, I don't know, give that credibility to a nation that they're might cause more problems than they're worth. That kind of is a shitty answer. I'll have to think about that, but it's a good question. I am Neuro asking, how does time / calendars work? Is there like an interstellar calendar that everyone uses, and then each system has like a local time? Yeah, so every star system has, you know, a bunch of time zones, because there's all the planets within them. So I'm not exactly, like, we haven't exactly codified this, but in my head, there's definitely like a standard, like, universal time zone that you can reference wherever you are, and that's based on Alpha Centauri time. Being the first colony established, they're the ones who kind of set the standard of how these things are measured. But there's also, you know, like Juno local time for this planet or this section of the planet. Time is tricky. It's a hard question to answer in science fiction. Sean Yap asking, how stable is the sphere? None of the superpowers in this universe are exactly like incredibly stable, or they're unstable for different reasons. Japan has the unique challenge of trying to hold on to a lot of its allies who only are in the sphere not because they necessarily agree with the aims and objectives of the Japanese government, but mostly because they fear the Soviets, or they fear Oto, or they fear somebody else. So the sphere is becoming more and more an alliance of convenience, as Japan is not able to enforce such a tight hold over it anymore. So I think we actually mentioned in one of the Champlain news articles, whoops, my phone's going. In an article mentioned on the Champlain group, we made mention of this incident in Japan that caused the loss of, not the loss, but it weakened Japan's position within the sphere. So that's kind of where we're at. What else? Any other questions? Stormlancer asking, did Vega win the first Solar War? Yes, but not fully. That's why there was the need for the second. They didn't intend to get all their objectives in the first Solar War, so they kind of saw a couple conflicts as the way to move forward, and they just, the second Solar War was launched too late. If they had done it sooner, maybe it would have turned out differently, and that's all I can say for now. And okay, how large is Oto's presence in the local cluster? Naval bases, army bases, security guarantees, etc. Yeah, Oto probably has the largest presence in the local cluster, solar cluster. So Oto, depending on how you see things, is such a close ally with Alpha Centauri that Alpha Centauri might as well be in Oto. But if that ever happened, that would probably cause war, or at least harsh repercussions from the Soviets, the Japanese, the Germans, the Axis, everybody. Alpha Centauri has to be independent because of some laws related to its establishment, but for all intents and purposes, is part of Oto. Can't say that exactly, hence the creation of Sato as kind of the Oto of the local cluster. But yeah, apart from that, there's Oto bases in the Apollo subcluster. There's even one in the Juno Reach that showed up on a map. I think the Americans have a base near Sylvanus. So yeah, there are Oto bases all throughout the local cluster. I'm sure they share some agreements with Turkey to host some bases there. Possibly for Brazil. I don't know if we're still working on the role of Brazil in this universe. I don't actually know. I mean, the easy answer is that they're closely aligned to the US on most things, but maybe not. I'm not exactly sure. That's something we're still working on. Grestel asking, aside from Vega, are there going to be other significant non-legacy powers? Yes. We just mostly haven't gotten there yet. Legacy powers, the strong ones, only emerged in areas of the Orion arm where the superpowers couldn't really get to them and blow things up like they did with Vega. So right around here, there is a formidable non-legacy nation challenging the Soviets for leadership in the Comintern. And I'm sure we'll be adding some other large non-legacy nations. And you even got things like the Senecane subcluster, which has, I can't remember the exact name, but it has a great name, but it's something like the Union of the Republic of, or the Republic of the Union of Andalula Chalif, and then the Republic of Senecane, I think is the, they got some names, they're on the wiki. You're welcome to check it out. Oliver Pyaskin, I think it's how you pronounce Pi? I don't know. Sorry, Oliver. Asking, will there be more powers in the far frontier? Yes, but nothing crazy. The largest colony in the far frontier would be way smaller than a place like Juno or Vesta. Large nation states generally haven't evolved in the far frontier. But it's happening. The two big ones out in the far frontier, I mean, we still got to get to this part of the map, so this is like a long way out, but when we get to developing the far frontier, the big nations are, I think, what is it? Reunion is the largest one, and second largest is Glasswall, are the two big nations out there. But they're big by the standards of the frontier. They are very small by the standards of the superpowers or the local cluster. Because I think someone earlier was asking about private military corporations. A megacorp PMC almost took over one of the largest star systems in the far frontier, to give you a sense of how that works. I don't know. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm rambling. But I think it's an answer. And these notes aren't helping my confidence. Like, this looks like the ramblings of a crazy person. I think we're... what can you do? One and only JJ, thank you all for all the super chats. Very much appreciated. Saying, you mentioned once how you wanted France and Britain to be more equals with the USA and Oto. Do you have any current concepts, examples that reflect that? I'm not sure what an example of that would even look like. Like, what would be an example of something that would indicate that? I guess the big one is that in terms of like the number of ships they're fielding, it's a lot more, it's closer. So when you look at the US Navy today and how it stacks up against other navies across the world compared to the US Navy at the start of World War II and how that stacked up against the rest of the world, it's closer to the 1940s model. So in one of those tweets we put out on the Champlain group, there was an announcement that the US is moving towards having a 70,000 ship navy. They're doing that to catch up with the French and to catch up with the British, who probably have in excess of that. So that's that. Okay. Grestel asking, you said there are alien ruins and artifacts around the Orion arm. Are you going to have any faction heavily influenced by them, like using technology or designs based on the old alien tech? Well, technically every faction in this universe is based on old alien tech, because it was the Synfaxi invasion of the solar system that led to the development of faster than light travel ahead of schedule. So technically everyone is. But as for like really, really dramatically using old alien tech, probably not. I don't want this to be like, say something like Star Trek, where like you find like an alien artifact and you plug it into the ship, and then it does all sorts of weird stuff. It's a lot more subtle than how alien artifacts work in this universe. I'm trying to think of a good example. I think I mentioned this already, but on the wiki, we have an article about a planet in the Urgulu system, which is where those ruins were found. I don't know the name of the article off the top of my head, but yeah, we got some details on the Urgulu system, so check out the wiki. There's some information there. And we'll be updating the wiki with all this random lore as we keep going, so it's another good place if you want some more insight into what's going on. All right, any last questions here? Okay, we got XO4 asking, what is the difference between Neo-Vega nationalism and classical Vega nationalism? Why is Vesta on the latter? So, classical Vega nationalism would have been what Vega itself followed in the eras of the Solar Wars. And this is kind of this, I don't want to get too, like, this is where it's tricky, right? Because the point of Vega nationalism was that it's this new ideology that that formed on Vega, and it was just this big success story. But I am not smart enough to come up with a whole new system of government that's really brilliant, so until we do some more research, the actual details of what Vega nationalism is going to be a little vague. I'm imagining just like, there's definitely, they have a unique style of government where I think they have like 3 leaders instead of 1, which is one of the ideas we're working off of. But basically, I'll cut it down to the chase here. Classical Vega nationalism was what they followed in Vega, and New Vega nationalism is probably just a marketing tool used by, I forget which nation uses Neo Vega nationalism. I think it was Salamis. It's a marketing buzz thing. They're trying to position themselves as the successor to Vega. So what it means is a little open to interpretation. Again, this is something that I haven't put like a ton of thought into, just like the real basics, but the idea is people are trying to trade on the old Vega name and legacy. Vesta wants to be seen as, you know, the next Vega. Salamis wants to be seen as like evolving the Vega model. Who knows what Arcturus is up to, but all of these smaller nations kind of look to Vega for leadership. So now they got to find their own way. Okay. A Templin scholar asking, how many times do we have to say this? At least once more, Miss Swan. Okay. Apart from that, though, I think we're going to end it here. Thank you so much for all these questions. I know there was plenty I didn't get to, but we'll be streaming every week. I originally said every 2 weeks, but we haven't been streaming in a while, so I feel like it'll give us some good time to catch up here. So 1 week today, we'll be back editing this map. I'll be scribbling all over it and ruining it and hopefully explaining some stuff along the way. But yeah, until then, thank you all so much for being here. But I'm going to try something. So even though the stream over here on the Templin Institute is done, in about 10 minutes, I'm going to go live on the Templin Institute Twitch channel, streaming some Warno, the greatest game ever made. So if you like Warno, or if you have Warno and want to play, find me on Twitch. I'll be there in like 5-10 minutes playing Warno. Alrighty. Apart from that, though, we're going to be, I mean, Templin is back and running again now. We're still getting everything done. So as just a quick refresh of what's been going on, this week we debuted the new Templin UI style in our videos. By the end of we also launched, not relaunched, I guess you'd say, the Discord's been updated with new channels, including a little world showcase thing we'll be talking about later, but check that out if you haven't already. By the end of the week, our Patreon will be updated, and we'll be talking about some of the new rewards we're giving out. Next week, we're updating a lot of the Twitch stuff and going from there. So, I don't know. Follow our social media to stay in the loop. I feel like I had a point I was leading towards. I don't know. The point is, I guess, today's Wednesday, streaming Warno. On Friday, streaming... I'm split between the 2 different options. Option 1 would be Fallout New Vegas, because I've never played that game. Don't tell anybody. We made it about 2 hours into it until the stream died, and then I got sick again, so that sucked. But it's either going to be New Vegas or StarCraft. I have not played the campaign of StarCraft in forever, and I'm really in the mood for some like sci-fi stuff, so between those 2 options. Saturday, who knows? Maybe we'll do the one we didn't choose on Friday. And then on Monday, there's a few other games I want to stream. I haven't even played Space Marine 2 yet, so this is how far behind I am. All right, and Tim Barton saying, this is Jimmy. I also like, what are some other good lines from StarCraft? I'm waiting on you. Ready to roll out. All right, I'm getting distracted. This outro is falling off the rails. Basically, we're back to streaming, so check us out on Twitch, social media if you want to stay involved. All right, and let's get the hell out of here, and I'll see you on Twitch in about 10 minutes. If I can figure out how to push the button.